we are 70% water and only 30% land. And so really, the availability of fresh water is simply about energy and transport.
But what if that very water became the fuel that redefines human history forever? Because Elon Musk has just unveiled a new game-changer, a water engine that could completely change the way we drive and live our lives. He made this shocking revelation on X where he announced that Tesla has made a big change, and that Tesla is shifting gears entirely. Instead of sticking only to battery-powered cars, they are now betting big on hydrogen fuel cells, and this move has companies all over the world watching closely with a mix of fear and wonder. This decision comes at a critical time when Tesla is facing massive challenges in mass-producing its 4,680 battery cells, forcing the company to look for alternative sustainable energy solutions that can scale globally. So Musk is on a mission to find new greener energy solutions, and the best part is that he is introducing Tesla's water engine, which he says will be the absolute star of this eco-revolution. What is so amazing about this water engine, and how will it shake up our world? Stay tuned, because we are going to break down Musk's new brilliant move step by step and show you why it is such a massive deal that could give the car industry a boost, or maybe even a bigger change than we ever imagined. Before we dive into the technical heart of this machine, hit that subscribe button to stay up to date on all things tech, because Elon Musk, the big brain behind Tesla and SpaceX, is all about dreaming big and saving the planet at any cost. He is obsessed with inventing cool tech that makes life better while keeping Earth green, and Musk doesn't just think outside the box, he smashes it entirely, pushing the limits of what anyone thought was possible and earning his spot as a real-life trailblazer in every sense of the word. With Tesla, Musk didn't just want to build electric cars, he wanted to flip the whole car world upside down, and his plan was to prove that electric rides could zoom faster, stay safer, and be way more fun than the loud, vibrating gas guzzlers of the past. But it is bigger than just cars for him. It is about turbocharging the world's switch to clean energy. And with SpaceX, he is shooting for the stars literally, because Musk's dream is to make space travel cheap and easy, with the ultimate goal of setting up a permanent camp on Mars. And thanks to SpaceX's wild wins, like landing rockets vertically and using them again, he is already shaking up the space game and turning his once crazy ideas into real tangible stuff that we see every day. Musk's adventure in green energy and transportation has some truly epic highlights. If we take a look back at when Tesla kicked off in 2003, when people laughed at electric cars and called them slow and useless, but Musk, he just kept driving forward with an iron will. Elon Musk didn't give up, and boy did it pay off, because Tesla's first big hit, the Roadster, zoomed onto the scene and showed everyone that electric cars could be fast, fun, and go the long distance. Then came the Model S, the Model X, the Model 3, and the Model Y, with each one upping the game with better batteries, longer ranges, and even cars that can drive themselves a bit, making Tesla the undisputed king of electric vehicles and making them totally practical for everyday life across the globe. But Musk is not just about cars. He has got a green energy master plan, where Tesla's Powerwall and solar roofs let homes and businesses soak up the sun's energy and store it smartly, cutting the cord from dirty fossil fuels for good. And in space, SpaceX is absolutely crushing it with the Falcon 9 rocket that lands and flies again, slashing the cost of space trips to a fraction of what they used to be. Plus, Starlink satellites are beaming high-speed internet all over the globe, proving that Musk is basically rewriting the rules of technology as we know it. Now let's talk about his wild new water engine, which is super simple on paper, but crazy smart in its execution, because it runs on water to make energy, unlike old-school engines that burn gas, or even traditional electric ones that need massive batteries. This one is fundamentally different. How does it achieve this? It uses something called reverse electrolysis, because normally electrolysis splits water H2O into hydrogen and oxygen with electricity, but this engine flips it, mixing hydrogen and oxygen to create power with nothing but pure water vapor left behind, making it clean, green, and pure genius. So how does this awesome water engine actually work? Well, it is like a magic mix of fuel cells, reverse electrolysis, and some high-precision hydrogen-oxygen teamwork that happens inside the vehicle's core. Let's break it down in a way that is super easy to understand. First, you pour water into the system, then the engine uses a little zap of energy to split that water into hydrogen and oxygen, and then stores them in separate specialized tanks inside the car. When you hit the gas pedal, hydrogen flows into a fuel cell where it gets split into tiny protons and electrons, and those electrons zip around to make the electricity, which powers the car's motor with instant torque. Virum. Meanwhile, the protons sneak through a special layer, team up with oxygen from the air, and poof, out comes water vapor, and that is it. No nasty fumes, no carbon dioxide, just clean steam. This setup keeps pumping out power as long as there is hydrogen and oxygen ready to roll. But how does it stack up to other engines that we have been using for 100 years? Well, it stacks up pretty darn well. Old-school gas engines only use about 20 to 30% of their energy, while most of it just turns into heat that escapes into the atmosphere. But electric engines are champs at 85 to 90% efficiency. However, they have got downsides like slow charging times and batteries that eventually wear out and become waste, but the water engine hits around 60% efficiency, which is right in the middle, but it is way cleaner and greener than anything else on the road. What about how far it can go? Because regular electric cars often leave you sweating with range anxiety, topping out at 200 to 300 miles per charge, but the water engine powered by hydrogen's big energy punch can match or even beat gas-powered cars for distance. Picture this: you are cruising in a car that only puffs out water vapor and never leaves you stranded mid-trip because you are out of juice. How cool is that? And what makes the water engine so special is that unlike electric cars that need ages to charge, this baby refuels fast like filling up a gas tank. That speedy pit stop plus its planet-saving perks makes the water engine a total game-changer for cars, because here is the big win: it could shrink our carbon footprint to practically nothing. Regular gas engines spew out tons of carbon dioxide, about 4.6 metric tons per car, every year, plus other nasty stuff that heats up the planet and dirties the air, but the water engine just gives off water vapor, making it super clean and guilt-free. Switching to it could wipe out those emissions completely, plus it ditches other gross pollutants like nitrogen oxides and tiny particles, making city air way fresher for everyone who lives there. Electric cars are cleaner than gas guzzlers, sure, but they have got their own baggage, like digging up lithium and cobalt for batteries, which messes with the environment in its own way. And if the power to charge them comes from dirty plants, you are not saving as much carbon as you would hope. Hydrogen fuel cells are another green option, also making just water, but creating hydrogen often uses natural gas, sneaking in some carbon emissions, plus storing and moving hydrogen is tricky because it needs big high-pressure tanks. The water engine, though, is stepping up as a cleaner, smoother ride into the future with its reverse electrolysis trick, and it could be a total win because it is super efficient and kind to the planet at the same time. By using renewable energy like solar or wind to make the hydrogen, it keeps the whole process green from start to finish, slashing its eco-footprint to levels we never thought possible. Plus, it could save you some serious cash over time, because old-school gas engines need constant tune-ups, oil changes, and exhaust fixes, which add up fast, while the water engine is simpler with fewer moving parts, meaning repairs could be cheaper and rarer. The automotive world is currently buzzing with an intensity we have not seen since the original Industrial Revolution, because the shift from lithium-ion batteries to hydrogen fuel cells isn't just a minor upgrade. It is a complete demolition of everything the industry thought was a settled debate. Elon Musk's move into the realm of water-powered engines has companies all over the world watching with a mixture of disbelief and absolute terror, because if he succeeds, it means their multi-billion-dollar investments in battery gigafactories could become the largest stranded assets in history. This decision by Tesla comes at a time of immense internal pressure, as the company has struggled with the physics and chemistry required to mass-produce the 4680 battery cells at the scale and cost efficiency originally promised. Instead of doubling down on a technology that might be hitting its physical ceiling, Musk is doing what he does best, which is looking for a path that others have dismissed as impossible or too expensive, and this mission to find new, greener energy solutions has led him directly to the most abundant molecule in our world. The heart of the challenge lies in the infrastructure war, because while we have spent a decade building out superchargers for electric vehicles, the world for hydrogen is almost a blank slate, and this is where Musk's strategic genius really begins to shine. He isn't just looking at the car as a standalone machine. He is looking at the entire energy life cycle and how we can utilize renewable sources like massive wind farms and vast solar arrays to generate the electricity needed for reverse electrolysis right on the spot. Critics have long argued that hydrogen is inefficient because you lose energy at every step, from splitting the water to compressing the gas to transporting it, and then finally converting it back to electricity inside the car. But the Tesla water engine aims to solve this by creating a highly integrated and localized system. Imagine a future where the refueling stations themselves are miniature green hydrogen plants drawing moisture from the air or using local water sources and powering the entire process with Tesla solar roofs and megapacks, creating a truly decentralized energy network that no government or oil company can monopolize. This move has put massive legacy players like Toyota and Hyundai on high alert because they have been the lonely champions of hydrogen for years with cars like the Mirai and the Nexo, and they are now seeing their long-held beliefs validated by the very man who once called their technology fuel cells. Toyota, in particular, has been rocking the hydrogen world for a long time, and they are likely feeling a surge of energy seeing Musk join the fray because it could finally spark the massive influx of investment and infrastructure that hydrogen technology has desperately needed to cross the chasm into the mainstream. However, they also know that competition with Tesla is a double-edged sword because Musk doesn't just enter a market, he seeks to dominate it by vertically integrating every single component and making it cooler, more efficient, and more desirable for the average consumer. Experts are currently split down the middle on this water engine idea, with some hailing it as the ultimate leap toward a zero-emission civilization, while others are scratching their heads and questioning the thermodynamics and the massive capital required to build 10,000 hydrogen refueling spots across the globe. But online, the hype is uncontrollable as Tesla fans and tech enthusiasts are already dreaming of a vehicle that combines the instant torque of an electric motor with the 5-minute refueling time of a traditional gasoline engine. Not everyone is sold, though, and some recall Musk's previous harsh criticisms of hydrogen and are wondering if this pivot is a genuine scientific breakthrough or a high-stakes marketing gamble to stay ahead of Chinese competitors who are flooding the market with cheap battery EVs. Regardless of the motive, the hurdles are real, and the biggest one is safety, because hydrogen is famously difficult to store and extremely flammable, which means Tesla's engineering teams are currently under immense pressure to design tanks that are essentially indestructible even in the most catastrophic accidents. Tesla is reportedly using carbon fiber composites and advanced leak detection sensors that can shut down the entire system in milliseconds to ensure that a water-powered car is actually safer than any gasoline car ever built. The complexity of global regulations is another mountain Tesla must climb because every country from the United States to Japan to Germany has its own complex playbook for how hydrogen can be handled and transported. Tesla's strategy involves constant communication with regulators and a massive paperwork trail to prove that their reverse electrolysis system is not only effective, but follows every safety protocol to the letter. If they can pull this off, they will not just be selling a car, they will be selling a new way for humanity to interact with energy, and we could finally see a world where the oceans and the atmosphere provide all the fuel we need. The transition from gas guzzlers to water-powered wonders is not a simple task, because the entire global economy has been built around the extraction and burning of fossil fuels for over a century, and shifting that massive ship will take more than just a clever engine, it will take a total reimagining of what a car is. Hydrogen fuel cells have the superpower of high energy density, which is why NASA used them to power the Apollo missions to the moon, and it is that same raw power that Tesla wants to put in the hands of every driver. The catch has always been the energy kick needed to start the reverse electrolysis magic, but as Tesla improves its AI-driven energy management systems, the efficiency gap between batteries and hydrogen is shrinking every year. As governments around the world crack down with tougher emissions goals and offer sweet deals for clean tech, the timing for the water engine couldn't be more perfect, and the next 10 years will likely determine if we live in a battery-powered world or a water-powered one. Tesla is betting that the convenience of fast refueling and the abundance of water will eventually win over the average person who is tired of waiting hours at a charging station or worrying about their battery degrading over time. This is a massive shakeup that moves beyond the car world and into the very foundation of how we generate power for our cities and our industries. And if Musk is right, we are on the verge of a sky-high revolution that will make the internal combustion engine look like a primitive relic of a forgotten age. The vision Elon Musk has for the water engine doesn't just stop at the four wheels of a Tesla car, because once you master the art of reverse electrolysis and efficient hydrogen storage, you unlock the keys to the entire transportation kingdom. Imagine a world where the massive carbon footprint of global aviation is slashed to zero as hydrogen-powered jets take to the skies, emitting nothing but clean water vapor into the high atmosphere. This is the sky-high revolution that Tesla is quietly dreaming of, because ships could also get in on this action, sailing across the vast oceans using water engines to clean up the seas and the air simultaneously. Even the heaviest industries with massive energy needs that currently rely on dirty coal or natural gas could swap those fossil fuels for this sustainable hydrogen switch and slash their emissions like absolute champs. This journey from the early steam engines of the 1600s to the internal combustion giants of the 1900s has always been a hunt for more power and more freedom, but now we are finally adding cleanliness to that equation. We have learned from the failures of the past, like the early biofuels that gobbled up too much land, or the first electric cars that didn't have the range to survive, and Musk is applying those lessons to ensure the water engine doesn't hit those same roadblocks. By leveraging the existing Tesla supercharger network and tweaking it for hydrogen refueling, he is bypassing the infrastructure trap that killed hydrogen a decade ago. And by focusing on reverse electrolysis, he is aiming to make the process as smart and efficient as humanly possible. As more people jump on board and the technology gets cheaper to produce, these water engine cars will become affordable for everyone, and not just the fancy folks who can afford a luxury price tag. The secret sauce for making this a reality fast is teamwork, and Tesla is already great at making smart partnerships with top tech companies and research universities to bring in the brainpower needed to perfect the fuel cell stack. Imagine your house having solar panels soaking up the sun all day to create the hydrogen fuel needed for your car, or wind farms spinning away to pump out the electricity for your lights and the fuel for your ride. This is the ultimate high five between renewable energy and green transportation, and it could finally let us kiss the era of oil goodbye forever. It means steadier fuel prices and less fighting over resources, and millions of new jobs building this incredible tech. And it is all starting with a radical idea and a man who refuses to take no for an answer. Will the water engine zoom us into a green future, or will it hit too many speed bumps along the way while the world is watching and the race has officially begun? And that's a wrap on Elon Musk's wild water engine adventure. From quieter rides to cleaner skies, and maybe even planes and ships, this tech could flip the script on how we move and power our world. If you love this deep dive into the future of mobility, make sure you smash that like button and hit subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss the next big thing from our team. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because we want to know what you think about the water engine and the future of Tesla. See you in the next one, and as always, stay curious.